Welcome back to Prepper's Edge channel. Have you ever opened your fridge and found something that looks like it's auditioning for a horror movie? Yeah, we've all been there. That fuzzy green surprise lurking in the back. It's enough to make you lose your appetite. But what if I told you that with the right methods you could keep food fresh for years, even decades? We're talking about taking your survival skills to the next level. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll know how to store food like a survival Jedi master. We're kicking things off with a classic dehydration. This age-old method of food preservation has stood the test of time. Dehydration is one of the simplest and most effective ways to extend the shelf life of your food. Ancient civilizations, from the Egyptians to the Native Americans, relied on dehydration to preserve their harvests. They would lay out fruits, vegetables, and meats under the hot sun, allowing nature to do the work of removing moisture. By removing moisture, you cut off the water supply for bacteria and mold. Without moisture, these microorganisms can't thrive, which means your food stays safe to eat for much longer. And the best part? It works for almost anything. Fruits, veggies, meats, you name it. Whether you're looking to make dried apples, beef jerky, or dried herbs, dehydration has got you covered. Don't worry if you don't have a dehydrator. You can achieve great results with just your regular kitchen oven. Simply set your oven to its lowest temperature, usually around 140 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Slice your food thin, spread it out on a baking sheet, and let it dry out for a few hours. The key is to make sure the pieces are evenly spaced and not overlapping. You'll know they're done when they're leathery and pliable, but not sticky or moist. Trust me, there's nothing quite like biting into a piece of home-dried mango or apple. The flavors are concentrated, making them taste even more delicious than their fresh counterparts. Proper storage is key. Keep them in airtight containers away from light and moisture, and you'll have a stash of delicious, nutritious snacks that can last for years. Now, if you're serious about long-term food storage, freeze-drying is the holy grail. This method takes dehydration to a whole new level by freezing the food at super low temperatures and then removing the ice crystals using a vacuum. The result? Lightweight, shelf-stable food that can last for decades. Yes, you heard that right. Decades! Now, I know what you're thinking. Bare, freeze-drying sounds expensive. And you're not wrong. Those fancy machines don't come cheap. But here's a little secret. You can actually DIY it on a budget using dry ice. It's a bit more hands-on, but hey, we're survivalists, right? We don't shy away from a challenge. Plus, the satisfaction of freeze-drying your own meals is priceless. Imagine digging into a delicious steak dinner 25 years from now that you prepped yourself. That's the power of freeze-drying. Vacuum sealing, locking in freshness. Vacuum sealing is a game-changer in food preservation. It keeps items fresh for much longer by removing oxygen, the enemy of freshness. This method prevents mold, yeast, and bacteria from spoiling food. Especially useful for perishable items like meats and cheeses, vacuum sealing can extend their shelf life by weeks or even months. It also works wonders for dry goods like rice, beans, and pasta, keeping them fresh for years. You can vacuum seal a wide variety of items, from fresh produce to leftovers, making it an invaluable tool in any kitchen. Combine vacuum sealing with dehydration or freeze-drying for maximum shelf life. This is perfect for long-term storage and emergencies. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Imagine opening your pantry and finding everything neatly organized and ready to use. Fermentation, the ancient art of delicious preservation. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of fermentation. This ancient technique has been used for centuries to preserve food and enhance its flavor and nutritional value. But here's the best part. It's completely off-grid ready, no fancy equipment or electricity required. Fermentation works by using beneficial bacteria to transform food, creating a tangy, sour, and often probiotic-rich delight. Think sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, all bursting with flavor and good-for-you bacteria. And the shelf life? We're talking months, even years for some fermented goodies. So, not only are you preserving your food, but you're also giving your gut health a major boost. It's a win-win situation. Root cellaring nature's refrigerator. For our final survival food secret, we're going underground. Root cellaring is an age-old technique to preserve harvests. Imagine a natural refrigerator beneath your feet, where the earth keeps your food fresh. This underground storage space uses the earth's coolness and humidity to keep produce in prime condition for months. From ancient times to modern days, root cellars have stored food through harsh winters and hot summers. A root cellar is a cool, humid and dark space ideal for storing potatoes, onions, apples and other hearty staples. Imagine having fresh carrots in January, or a juicy apple that tastes freshly picked. That's the magic of a root cellar. Maintain a consistent temperature between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius and ensure proper ventilation to prevent mold and rot. Even if you don't have a basement or backyard, you can still use root cellaring principles. Create a mini version using a buried trash can or a cool, dark corner in your home. Get creative with your space. Whether it's a small closet or a shaded balcony, adapt root cellaring to your situation and enjoy fresh produce all year round. If you're a survival enthusiast, then you need to hear this. Before we wrap up, I've got one more survival hack straight from the high seas of the 17th century, when sailors sailed for months, sometimes years, with nothing but simple, ingenious methods to keep their food edible. Back in the day, salt wasn't just a seasoning, it was pure preservation magic. Sailors would take cuts of meat, beef, pork, even fish, and cure them by rubbing in copious amounts of salt. The salt would draw out moisture, which bacteria need to grow, and in effect turn the meat into a long-lasting food source. Here's how they did it. The salting process. Start with fresh meat and trim off excess fat, since fat can go rancid more quickly. Liberally rub coarse sea salt over every surface of the meat. Some sailors even mixed in spices or herbs like juniper berries and bay leaves for extra flavor and a bit of extra antibacterial power. Lay the meat out in a cool, dry place, or in the ship's hold, which was naturally cooler than the deck, and let it cure for 24 to 48 hours. This process would draw out the moisture, turning the meat almost into a dry, concentrated version of itself. Storing the cured meat. Barrels and crates. Once cured, the meat was often packed into barrels. These barrels were lined with more salt and sometimes even layers of dried herbs to add another barrier against spoilage. Low and slow. The meat wasn't eaten immediately. It was stored low in the ship, away from the heat of the sun, and left for weeks or even months. This method not only preserved the meat but also gave it a distinctive flavor that sailors swore by. Additional techniques. Smoking. In some cases, after salting, the meat was hung over a slow fire. The smoke added another layer of preservation while giving the meat a rich, smoky flavor. Imagine the aroma of burning wood mixed with salt, an unmistakable smell of survival on the open ocean. Pickling for vegetables and even some fruits, pickling in brine, was popular. This method involved submerging the produce in a solution of water, salt, vinegar, and sometimes spices, which not only kept them edible for long periods, but also provided essential vitamins during long voyages. What's so fascinating about these methods? They were entirely low-tech and relied on natural elements, salt, smoke, and the cooling power of the deep ship's hold. It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest techniques are the most effective. So next time you're thinking about your long-term food storage, take a page from maritime history. A bit of salt, a slow cure, and some smoke might just be the secret ingredients to keeping your food fresh when modern conveniences fail. Become a food preservation master. So there you have it, my friends. 5 powerful food preservation methods that will transform you from a starving survivor to a culinary ninja in no time. Remember, being prepared isn't just about having the right gear. It's about having the knowledge and skills to thrive in any situation. And what better way to ensure your survival than by having a stockpile of delicious, nutritious food at your fingertips? Now, I'm curious, what's your go-to food preservation method? Drop a comment below and share your wisdom with the tribe. And don't forget to subscribe for more survival prepping tips. Until next time, stay safe, stay prepared, and keep those bellies full.